Hey guys, I'm sure you heard about the recent attack on a London bridge. There's about 7 people who died, another 49 of them were injured, and of those 49, there's something like 21 of them that are in critical condition. So, the body count could actually raise a lot more by the end of the week. And another thing we should remember is that when people are injured, that's also very life changing. If you lose your leg, you lose half your face, you get a punctured lung, that will affect your life dramatically for the rest of your life. So even though the body count is not high, we should also remember that, right? And how it's going to affect people's lives, even though the injured aren't dead. But what this was 3 Muslim dudes in a van that plowed through a bunch of people on the bridge and got out and shouted, "This is for Allah," and started stabbing people at the borough market. And the media is describing these people as Asian or Mediterranean, like they usually do, because they don't really want you to make the connection between Islam and terrorism, right? So they're always going to try to muddy the waters this way. And or like CNN, these agencies, they're like, oh, it's a van attack. It's a gun attack, it's a van attack, it's a knife attack. It's like, no, these objects need humans to be operated. So let's be honest here. It has a lot to do with Islam and Muslims. It's not Asian or Mediterranean, because when you think Asian, you're thinking of like Chinese people. Like that's what most people think about, and they know that, right? You're not thinking of the Middle Eastern people or Arabs, right? You're thinking of the Chinese. But yeah, these guys mowed over a bunch of fucking innocent civilians like pieces of shit. Got out, yeah, shouted, "This is for Allah," then started stabbing people. And there was some community police around there. They had batons, right? And they couldn't do anything. Like one of the guys got away, like they were pretty much running from these guys. And when you have people walking around with batons and they're not really trained for this shit, yeah, more people are gonna die. Like imagine if these officers actually had guns. You think you know how many people would have been saved, right? Or a lot less people would have been killed. But oh no, we don't like guns here. We don't need them. We're not like those Americans, and blah blah blah. We don't need them here. It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's like either you keep the threat level high and you keep soldiers on your streets at all times patrolling, or you let people arm themselves, right? Like either you want to spend a bunch of money and you want to give the government more control, like they're already trying to do, like imposing these martial law type things. Like that's a lot of money, that's a lot of resources that you're going to be spending, where people, if they could just carry weapons themselves, that would save a lot of money. It would save time and lives, because even if the cops do have guns, you got to wait for them to get there, and it took something like 8 to 10 minutes for them to get there. And witnesses are reporting something like 20 minutes for some of these people. So it's not, they're not going to respond fast enough in these situations. In these situations, these events, these terrorist attacks are going to continue. They're not going to abate. They're not going to stop. There was Islamists, there was ISIS calling for these attacks to be used with trucks like a week ago, right? Like the authorities know of this. And another thing is, a lot of these people these guys were probably on the terrorist watch list. There's thousands of them in London, but they're not doing anything about it. And just like the guy in Manchester, there was plenty of warnings for him and how he was on a watch list, all these things. That the authorities know about these people, so they're just not acting fast enough. They're not doing anything about it. So if you at least kick these people out of your country, or detain them or something, then you could prevent a lot of this shit, a lot of these murders, most likely, right? And this is the start of Ramadan too. Like this is supposed to be like a holy spiritual month, of peace and this, but for some reason there's always a lot of death and carnage whenever this fucking holiday comes around. Like it's correlated with it all the time. And already after this too, Theresa May, they're looking to like censor the internet. It's like censoring the internet is not going to stop these attacks. The only way to stop these attacks is to minimize the amount of Muslims entering your country. You know, let people make the connection between these attacks and Muslims. Instead of saying they're Asian, Mediterranean, be honest. And, you know, let's be fucking real here. Like, this importing these people is not going to reduce terrorism. Like, Trudeau came out a while ago and said multiculturalism is going to stop terrorism. Like, what is this guy, fucking nuts? Like, what kind of nonsense is that? It's like importing more people who have that ideology that, you know, gets them to blow themselves up and to do like suicide attacks. Like, you're gonna bring more of those people in and think there's gonna be less of a problem? Like, you're a fool. You're an idiot. So, you know, this is gonna continue. It's gonna keep happening because, you know, the people of London don't care. They're desensitized to it. They're just like, oh, we're gonna keep on chucking away and going like our usual day and blah blah blah. It's like, all right, fine, do that, but you know, more of your kids are gonna die, and soon enough it's gonna affect you. Soon enough it's gonna be one of your friends, right, or one of your family members, or even you. So, you know, stick your heads in the sand for longer. You know, keep doing it. It's gonna have, you know, it's not gonna have a good effect on your society. It's gonna, more people are gonna die. More innocent people are gonna die. So, like I said, the only solution to this is to reduce the amount of immigration from these countries. Reduce the amount of Muslims in your country. Not go and kill them and take them out of your country forcefully, that the ones that are there have been living there. But, yeah, the people on terror watch list, put them in prison immediately, or do something to them immediately. Like, don't just, you know, if they've been a suspect, if they go to these countries like Syria and stuff, and they're coming back, like, yes, you know, Trump and all these people are right. Like, if you're going to Syria, if you're going to Afghanistan, there's a high chance you're going to be radicalized. And Theresa May wanting to ban the internet isn't really going to do anything either, because, you know, these people will find avenues, they will find ways to contact these people. And one of the main sources for them doing this stuff is the Quran. All they need to do is look at the media, read the Quran, or the Wahhabist version of the Quran in a lot of contexts, and then they're gonna be like, oh, well, I should do this. You know, they don't even need contact with ISIS, right? They don't need to talk to them at all. They're gonna do this on their own or with ISIS's help, one or the other, right? It's gonna happen. So get your heads out of your fucking asses and do something instead of just, you know, changing your Facebook profile to the colors of fucking the UK or England or London. Like, do something, actually. You know, call for actual measures to be taken instead of like, more peace, more love, more this. Don't let the hate win. You're just using this for your narrative, for your hate of Muslims. It's like, dude, people are dying, and we're showing that there's a connection between Islam, the deaths, and the amount of Muslims in your country. That's not hate. That's just saying this is what's happening in the world, and if you want to reduce it, there's one solution, right? You know, you can't convince people like through love like this. You know, people have like, you know, these ingrained beliefs that you can't just get out of them like that. You know, like these people are brain dead who think that. But, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens in the coming months, because I have a feeling a lot more of these attacks are going to happen, because Ramadan is just going to continue and get bloodier and bloodier like this fucking holiday always seems to get. But if you like my content, subscribe and have a great day. See ya.